right, hello everyone. It is Matt again, Automated Matt. It has certainly been, I think, quite a while, fair to say, since I have posted anything on this channel, really. Obviously, my last post was that really big loss that I took, I think like a $5,000 loss one day in December, which was probably my own fault for running during contract rollover. But needless to say, I've still been getting a lot of questions about QuantView, my thoughts on them, their ATS, is it worth it, yada yada yada. And I also felt just kind of weird not having posted it again after that last video, especially just I think it kind of made me seem a bit like a fraud, for lack of a better word. And the video or the channel has still been getting some traction since then, with I think still just like 30 subscribers, still slowly having just creeped in over the last couple of months. And you know, I think a lot of people are still interested in QuantView. I'm not, you know, I'm able to give a very unbiased, I think, opinion on QuantView as just a user of their products. So wanted to go ahead and share with all you what I got going on right now, what I've been doing. Am I still automating? Am I doing manual trading now? And all that good stuff. I wouldn't say this means I'm like fully back. I just don't want to post shorts anymore and reels and TikToks just because, well, honestly, one of the reasons I really like automated trading is I don't really have to think about it that much. I don't really have to, you know, worry about what happens day in and day out. I just know I'm in it for the long-term game. However, when I was posting every day about it, and when I was posting all my losses every day, and so on and so forth, it got kind of stressful, and it kind of got to me more. Also, I was definitely trading with way too much to, you know, with my lot size being 2NQ at the time. And if I'm being honest, 50K a month, at least for now, not super realistic. I was definitely being a little clickbaity with that. But what I do believe is that there still can be some pretty good money made with automated trading, as long as you have the proper expectations and all that good stuff. So yeah, the past few months, I have been taking a bit of a break. I've only been really automated trading like, I'd say really half of the year so far. I kind of had it off a lot of the time, honestly, especially after Trump took office. Things were kind of just crazy in the market for a while. You know, there were 100.1 minute candles on NQ that were just kind of insane that could happen at any point in time. So I was kind of giving it a break, but it does seem like the market has kind of, I wouldn't say calmed down, but is not as insanely volatile as it has been. And I'm just kind of back to letting things run normally for automation with just better expectations and better sizing. And then as well, I've also been doing some manual trading. I had a New Year's resolution to get funded on Top Step with that, as well as finally get some payouts doing manual trading. And I'm very happy to say I was able to do that. I was able to withdraw 2 separate $1,000 payouts with Top Steps, so really stoked on that. Shout out to the squirrels for helping me on that in QuantView. If you know, you know. But yeah, I was also doing that mainly using QuantView's tools, as well as just kind of looking at some basic levels on the charts. But really for me personally, just because I need things as dumbed down as possible, it was really just using their basic Q Pro tools, which is another tier you can get from them if you want. But without further ado, because this is a channel, of course, about automated trading first and foremost, let's go ahead and take a quick look at my P&L for the year so far. So, like I said, obviously in December I did have a really big loss that put me down, I think about like 5K or something like that. I was still up on the year about like 1,000 or 2,000 somewhere. No, it was like a 5,000, somewhere in that range. I don't know. Go watch the last video. But I decided this year to still keep going with it, just in smaller sizing and trying out some different strategies. Most of what I've been doing is still just the normal Q Zeus, but I did also mix in another member strategy that was made using Q Chronos, just called J12's OG settings. If you're in the QuantView Discord, go check them out. Shout out J12. They're really consistent settings. They're really good for prop firms. I hesitate to use them just a little bit anymore on my cash account, mainly because with the way these settings work, you need to set a daily profit target or daily profit limit in Tradevate. And Tradevate isn't always great about shutting off the trade, even if you do hit that daily profit limit. So I've kind of taken a pause on that and stopped But all that to say, still doing QZeus, then as well doing some of the newer settings that have come out recently. They're what they're calling their super settings for ES. I'm course trading though on MES, which have also been pretty solid. I actually just had my first week trading him, and it's been pretty good so far. So as you can see, for the year so far, up to date, or year to date, I'm at just under 6,200 after commissions and everything, which, you know, is pretty solid, I think, overall. You know, so I'm pretty happy about. And, you know, then I think just to really kind of, you know, show you all like the big picture of where I'm at with automated trading. I mean, let's just go back as far back as June, right? I think that's when I really started using QuantView. Overall, I'm still up 13 grand, which is really awesome. You can see right here the massive loss I had back in December is that, yeah, 5 grand, which was pretty insane. But you can see overall since then there's been some ups and downs, but, you know, all in all, I'm pretty happy with that. 13.4 grand is nothing to sniff at for being fully hands off for the most part. So if you're interested in learning more about how I'm doing that, you know, keep watching the video, follow along, and, you know, we'll see where things go, and, you know, hit that subscribe button. But I'm definitely going to be posting a lot less frequently. You know, I might just do one video a week or even every 2 weeks here and there. Really just kind of when I feel like it. I don't want to force myself to any kind of schedule with this anymore, just because that's just not fun for me, and that's not really why I'm doing this anymore. I'm just trying to give everyone kind of my honest experience with the QuantView, which for me has been pretty good so far. And really in general, what I do want to say with automated trading is, you know, I had this realization just this week, actually, at least for like some of these strategies with cash accounts, right? I think you can get a little bit more nuanced if you're automating on Renko's strategies on prop firms, but with these cash accounts, you know, really just view it as sort of like a long-term investment, right? Like you're buying a stock, you know, because there are going to be swings up and swings down and so on and so forth, right? And there'll be some big swings down, obviously, like with what happened to me in December. But as long as you stick with the strategies overall, you will ultimately, more likely than not, still come out positive in the long run. So with that in mind, let's really quickly take a look at the strategies I'm using. Of course, still using QZeus. That is the main one I was using when I was updating this channel more. I have right now just the back test set until December. So just so you can see where things would have gone had I just kept running things through December, if I didn't take a break up until now. Actually, that's off a few days, but that's not a big deal because the past few days were just wins anyways. But yeah, so you can see like there would still be an insane loss or a lot of drawdown, but this would still come out positive, which is really kind of the main thing you want to focus on at the end of the day with really any automation. Obviously, there are like parameters you don't want to get crazy with, especially if you're trying to automate, or drawdown you want to get crazy with, especially if you're trying to automate on a prop firm. But for cash accounts specifically, like, I think this is very acceptable. Also, I should note, I'm not trading 3NQ right now as my base. I have this running on the NQ chart. However, I am trading MNQ. So for all intents and purposes, you can take all the profit and drawdown you see here and just divide it by 10. And then, you know, let's even go back all the way until, you know, January, right? Like 2023. The profit factor on this and just like the overall equity curve is still really good and extremely smooth. So will it continue to be? Maybe, maybe not, but I'm not going to be too stressed about it even if it doesn't, because I'm not trading 2NQ anymore. I'm only trading MNQ for the time being, which is definitely much less stressful. So, you know, there's definitely been some cracks in the armor recently, especially with just the crazy volatility recently. However, I still think this is a pretty good algorithm to use. And then what I'm also using as well are the ES settings, which are the super settings they're calling them, that Anthony put together in the QuantView Discord, Anthony being the CTO over there. And these have been really solid so far. Again, I'm trading these on MES, not ES, so you can divide this all by 4. This was actually just my first week really trading them. but this week alone I was up like $1,500 almost just between QZeus and these settings, which is really good. I did actually have a small loss this week, which is what that $78 loss is, or excuse me, a small loss today with the ES settings. But again, you know, I'm up overall this week like 1,400, so that small loss today is not a big deal. And that is again using both the MNQ settings, or MNQ on QZeus, and then MES, these super settings here. Only real issue I have with these super settings is that the commissions are like really tough. I mean, just for example, if we look only at today, you know, I only actually had $20 loss in trading, but when you take in the fees and commissions, it's a $58 loss, which is kind of rough, but you know, whatever, I guess, is what it is. Might look at Tradeovate's other plans to reduce commissions, or honestly, I might just up the lot size on this to kind of offset that commission loss. TBD, not sure what I want to do on that yet, but we will see. Worth noting, these both are using martingale strategies, so if there is a loss, it does double the trade size the next one. That is inherently very risky. It is totally possible. Again, I don't expect it to happen based off the historical data. However, it is totally possible that I could potentially blow these accounts. So with that in mind, you know, only automate what you're willing to lose, really. But yeah, things are going good overall. Can't really complain. One caveat I will admit to is on the days where there's red folder news at 7 a.m. Well, 7 a.m. for me, 10 a.m. Eastern. I do have different settings where my automation starts at 7:20, and that's really just to avoid any kind of crazy losses that might happen of any crazy news candles. But yeah, all in all, still automating. I'm gonna post periodically here and there. If you're interested in the strategies that I use, go check out QuantVue. I think there's still going to be links somewhere in my bio down there, so check that out if you want. If you're interested in automating cash accounts, you can do it with their ATS software if you choose to buy it, which I can't recommend their ATS enough. These two algorithms I do use are specifically specifically part of the ATS package. If you want, you can make versions of them, kind of lesser versions to be honest, with just their QChronos. However, the QChronos algorithm is still very, very powerful, and I still think you can find a lot of success with it. These two just happen to be specifically for ATS, that being the Chronos Evo and that being Zeus, but still a lot of value to be had. The ATS is very expensive now, straight up, not really any way around it. I think it's like $7 grand or $6,500 depending on how you pay, something like that. But I personally, you know, if you do have that money to spend, I think there is a lot of value to it. Maybe it'll pan out for you, maybe it won't. Really just depends on how you use the tools they give you. But they're doing a lot of exciting things. They're moving totally off of TradingView, which is great front end, but not a great back end, basically, as far as how the soft TradingView actually is. Alerts will often be delayed and things like that. So what they are doing over at QuantView that's super exciting is going to be basically creating their own trading charting system. I don't know exactly how to describe it that well, but they're totally migrating off of TradingView, which is super exciting. And what that really should result in is just much higher execution times, actually like accurate Renkos with the potential to even backtest them accurately, which will be huge because we can't do that right now on TradingView. There's a lot of exciting things coming. Or if you just want to automate normally into a cash account, all you need is Alert Dragon, which I've been saying it for a while now, but I will eventually make a video on how to properly use this. Because a lot of people seem to have issues with it, but it's a pretty simple software, I think. But I do think some people could get some value from just a video on it. But yeah, that's all I got, everyone. I'm kind of back. Subscribe if you want to learn more about how I'm automating and using QuantView strategies. I'm not paid by QuantView. I'm just giving you my honest experience with the strategies so far. So if that's interesting to you, follow along. If you have any questions, either hit me up in the QuantView Discord at FroFrosty, or leave a question, leave a comment on this video, and I'll answer it as best as I can whenever I post another video. So look forward to that. Otherwise, everyone, stay safe. Don't get too risky with your automation. Trade carefully. And I hope you all make a lot of fucking money. Thanks all.